Hey, what's happening out there, YouTube? Carlos CNL, small engine repair and mobile service. Um, yeah, I'm in the car today. We got to go get a part, guys. Nobody stocks every part out there. Um, we have to go to Adams Power Equipment in Beckley, West Virginia. A friend of mine, go check him out, man. If you're around this area, man, Adam is the largest Husqvarna dealer in West Virginia. This dude, this place rolls some equipment out. I was down there in August or September. I think it was August, and he had 600 pieces in the back. Now I'm telling you guys, that's rolling some equipment, man. 4 or 5 techs in the back, 3 parts people in the front, plus himself. Yeah, man, this is probably one of the biggest. I mean, he's not like a Menards or nothing like that, but you know, it's a big place. They carry a lot of stuff. But anyway, if you get around West Virginia, man, or you want a good deal, I guess you can do it about anywhere on these. Carries Toro and different stuff. Adam's a good dude. Go check him out. He's not on Facebook or nothing like that. He says he's too busy for all. Yeah, I'm too busy for that nonsense. But anyway, all right, guys. Hey, this is what I wanted to talk to you about there this morning. And I'm actually going to put out a challenge to the new guys that are out there, Phil and KB and Andrews. Anybody can jump in here on it though, man, because this is important. But I'm gonna put out a challenge for them to make a video on safety. I'm gonna start it off because today is Wednesday. I had a visitor at the shop, and this visitor was the safety inspector for the county at my shop. So I failed miserably, guys. I come an ace of being shut down, and this is the problem. When he said that that he could shut us down, I said, well, how long? I mean, if you did shut me down, how long would it take? For you to, how long would I be shut down? He's like, well, I mean, listen, these guys are rude, man. They don't have to be your friend. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, 6 months. It'd probably take me 6 months to get back here. So I don't know how big a hit you guys can take to your business, but starting in March, say, March, April, May, June, July, August, could you take that kind of hit to where you're not allowed to perform any work at that shop? So a lot of guys are out there now telling you how to run, how to start your small engine repair, tips on how to run it, what worked for them, what didn't work for them, that kind of thing. But nobody wants to touch on this part of it. It's just not been done. So I figure if I make one, then I put out a challenge. Some of these other guys will make one and kind of push everybody that way just a little bit, give everybody a little bit of a nudge. But it's like this, guys. If you shut down, you can't make no money. So let's just go. I don't have the paper with me, but the guy gave me a punch list, a to-do list. First and foremost, do you have a fire extinguisher? If you have a fire extinguisher, is it the right kind? Are you being compliant? Now, I had a small one, said kid on the side of it for like a kitchen or something like that. Wrong answer. You need a 40 BC fire extinguisher. Now, these are just not, I know somebody's going to say, well, maybe that's where you live. And maybe that's true. But you got to remember something. This is OSHA also. These are OSHA regs. Now, the guy who came to me was not OSHA, okay? But still, it's good enough to where, you're going to listen to him because he can still shut you down. They go pretty much on OSHA guidelines. So look up your state and local laws and your OSHA laws and stuff like that, and you should be fine. But here it is, guys. You got to have a 40 BC fire extinguisher. Not only do you have to have a fire extinguisher, it needs to have a tag on it to where you're inspecting and showing that you inspect that fire extinguisher every day. I mean, not every day, once a month. You have to put the date on it and initial it. So like today it'd be like 210 21, and then your initials out from it. You have to do that every month. And it also has to have a sign over it that says fire extinguisher. It has to be a place in your shop that you can easily get to. Same thing with your first aid kit. Do you have a first aid kit? I'm not talking about the old box of Band-Aids or duct tape and a paper towel. That's not what they're looking for. They want you to have a first aid kit that is OSHA or ANSI approved. And with that, you have to go in and check the contents of that thing. Now, if it's never been opened, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But you still have to check it off. Every month, you have to date and initial that you check that out, that none of that stuff in there is expired. Now, this is what the guy told me, is if you take an aspirin out of that first aid kit, there's a contents page, whether on the front, on the back, or inside it. And you have to go down that contents thing, and you're doing an inventory of that box. And you're checking each one of those things to make sure that nothing is expired. So if it's never been opened, that part's easy. All you got to do is look and make sure everything in it, on the back, it should have an expiration date. Or on the front, somewhere it should have one on the outside. So all those things is good to go. If you use an aspirin out there, you open it and use an aspirin out there. If you use a Band-Aid out there, all right, you either have to replace that Band-Aid, replace that aspirin, or buy a new first aid kit. It also has to be hung on the wall or put somewhere to where it's easy accessible. It has to have a sign over it that says first aid kit or first aid. And it has to be checked off, and like I said, every month. All right. Same thing with your eye wash station. Do you have an eye wash station? Most guys don't. I didn't. If you've got running water, which most people do to their shops and stuff like that, you can buy the faucet thing, and that goes up against your eyes. You just kind of put your eyes down and turn the faucet on. You can buy one of those. If not, then you have to buy, which what I'm going to do because it's a lot cheaper, is the eye wash that hangs on the wall that's got the jug, about yay big around, and you just twist the top off and squirt it in your eyes. It already marked. It's on a big yellow plastic board that goes on the wall. It says eye wash on it, gives you instructions on how to use it. But you have to check that off every month too to make sure that that's not expired. So there's your eye wash station, first aid, and all that. Safety glasses. Your safety glasses cannot be tinted if you work inside. There has to be a rating, impact rating on those safety glasses. So keep your wrapper. My advice, and this is what the guy told me, is you can buy 5 pair of safety glasses for your shop, and they'll cost you about $2 a piece, which he's right. And keep 1 pair out, and then have the other packages hanging behind it, or wherever you put them out, so that you can prove that those glasses meet certain standards. Now, like I said, I'm going OSHA with all this stuff, so anything I buy is going to say OSHA approved, or I ain't buying it. All right. On top of let me go back to the fire extinguisher real quick. You have to have an evacuation route posted in your shop. No matter how big your shop is, if you got multiple rooms, you have to draw a picture of that shop. Every room. In every room, a fire evacuation route has to be posted. In other words, how do you get out of the shop if it starts burning? How do you get out, and where do you go? So it has to have a rendezvous point to where you go out, and that's where you meet. I guess to watch your shop burn. Some of this stuff's ridiculous, guys, but I got dinged on this, okay? Then all those are pretty simple. I mean, fire extinguisher is going to cost you about $75. Uh, First aid kit is going to cost you about $30. You know, some of this stuff is not going to drain the bank. The eye wash station's about $30. You know, little stuff like that. But guys, you got to stay up on this compliance. I'm telling you, this is serious business. And it's just stuff that we blow off. We don't think it's ever going to happen. Who would have ever thought that a safety inspector would show up at my little shop? Also, you have to have a 3-foot space, a 3-foot walkway that is taped off or painted off on the floor, that is clutter free, that you can walk through that shop and not be stepping over stuff, nothing in the way to trip over, to fall over, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be hard for me to do in my shop. I mean, my shop's 12 by 20, guys. All I need is 3 foot from the workbench to the door. I only got one door. And speaking of that door, it has to have an exit sign over top of the door. I know it's ridiculous, right? But it does have to have an exit sign. It doesn't have to be lit or anything like that. It just has to be an exit sign. Now, those are all the little things. Now we're going to get to the big things. Oil containment. You have to have a double containment system in place for your used engine oil and gas and all that kind of stuff. It's called a double containment because it has to be contained twice. Okay, now here's your choices. Now you can buy a thing that looks like a pallet. It's made of plastic. It looks like it's sitting on bowls with a grate on top of it. They're $81 from Uline. You can buy one of those and put like a 55-gallon drum barrel or a 35-gallon drum barrel on top of it. I'm going with the poly myself. I'm not going to mess with the steel because it rots out, rusts out and stuff. But you can put that poly barrel on top of that skid. Then your container that the oil goes in, no matter if you pour it back into your quart jugs or you put it in a 5-gallon bucket like I do with a lid on it, then that goes inside the poly barrel. Okay, so we all use, well, I'm going to say all, but most of us use oil extractors and stuff like that. I've got one that's manual where I do mobile service. I go out, so the ones that run off air compressor is not going to help me. It would at the shop, but not that great. But anyway, no matter how you use it, if you just leave your oil in that, or you're putting it in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid and stuff sitting in the shop, wrong answer, guys. It's not supposed to be. You can't have it like that. It's not supposed to be in your shop like that. Now, you guys that have a bigger shop, you could put the pallet inside, that one I was telling you about, and do all, have it inside your shop. You wouldn't have to worry about it. But if you put that one outside, you have to build a roof over top of it so that the rain don't fill up the containment system. That's what those bowls are like for on the bottom of that, and they're great. Now, if you do want to build one outside, then what you need to do is, these are minimum requirements, guys. A 3-foot by 3-foot concrete pad with a 2-inch lip all the way around that pad, plus a barrier, a moisture barrier, like a piece of plastic, underneath the concrete. So keep that in mind. You have to have one of those. This serious business, guys. You definitely don't want the EPA down there breathing down your back. And the safety guy, they're checking this too. And I did not have the sign on the front of my building that tells everybody they have to wear a mask when they come in the building. So I could have got dinged on that too. These safety inspectors, man, they're handling EPA stuff, health stuff. I mean, they're checking all this. And all your flammables. I know that a lot of guys, I keep my stuff on a shelf. Even at my house, I've got a plastic Rubbermaid cabinet, that you put all your paints and all that kind of stuff in. Wrong answer, guys. Nope, it's supposed to be one of those flammable cabinets. All your flammables go in a flammable cabinet. Can of spray paint, Deep Creep, WD-40, gasoline, propane, whatever you're doing is supposed to go in that cabinet. And then it has to be marked 2 on it, which most of those yellow cabinets you see, those yellow steel cabinets, they are marked and they say, flammables. So you got to have one of those. The cheapest one I found is about $400. So those wooden cabinets, and if the ones with the garage organizer kits and all that, won't work. It has to be marked flammable on it. It has to be a certain steel, a gauge steel, and all that for it. He hit me for the propane tank with my heater sitting in the floor. If you run a propane heater, you got your big tank, your big cylinder, like you put underneath a grill or whatever. Then you have a hose running off of it over to it. Nope, nope, can't have that, guys. It don't work that way. You can't have those. I know, man, this is ridiculous, but it's the truth. It's just how it works. You cannot have one of those. That tank has to be outside, and the thing that he made was, well, when you bought this tank, what was it in? I was like, well, I bought it at Walmart, outside Walmart, and it was in a big old cage thing that locks. Yep, there you go. At your shop, it don't have to lock, but it has to be in some kind of cabinet or outside of your shop. It cannot be inside your shop running, that type of thing, or just sitting around. If it's just sitting around, it needs to be in the firebox. 2, inside that box, you have to have an MSDS sheet, material safety data sheet. Everything that is in that box needs to have a MSDS sheet. That is like if you have a can of red paint and a can of white paint and a can of green paint, then you need 3 MSDS sheets on that paint. It has to be color specific. I never thought it had to be color specific because it's all Rust-Oleum. Well, Rust-Oleum made it all, but it's got different ingredients in it for the different pigmentation of the paint. Your carburetor cleaner, all that, MSDS sheet, that goes in the box. Whatever's in that box, that MSDS sheet should be in the box. Now, while we're on MSDS sheets, they also, you have to have an MSDS sheet for your shop as a whole. So where I've got a can of orange pumice Gojo hand cleaner, I have to have an MSDS sheet on that. Where I have a bottle of Dawn dishwashing liquid in there, guess what? I have to have an MSDS sheet on it. The Berryman's that's in the carb cleaner, the ultrasonic parts cleaner, I have to have an MSDS sheet on that. So guys, listen, there's a lot to this. You have to keep up with all this stuff. This is, I know it's ridiculous, guys. I know it is, okay? But some of it. But we do need to start thinking more along the safety lines, man. We work in an industry to where, you can really hurt yourself. You can maim yourself bad. I mean, you can cut off pieces. I don't see how y'all can see that. You see that finger right there? Well, now old homeboy here can only count to 9 3/4. He can't quite go to 10 because I've got part of that finger cut off. Now, let me tell you something. If you work in this industry long enough and you do enough stuff, there's a good possibility you're going to lose a digit. You're going to get hurt. I mean, and I'm leaving the door open for these other guys. How do you handle your safety? Do you have, I've seen guys use these lawnmower lifts and not put the safety latch down, click, click, click as you pump them up, and not even have those down. Well, I ain't trusting nothing that somebody else built, man, with me up underneath like a big zero turn or something. Luckily the guy did not say anything about safety wear. I'm going to leave that kind of stuff other than eyewear to you other guys. How do y'all do it? Steel toes, no steel toes, composite toe. Well, that kind of stuff. I know they make gloves now that they're not supposed to be resistant to cuts and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make this video, one, because I got hit. Now, they can shut you down. Don't think they can't, because with a stroke of a pen, that guy can ruin you. He shuts you down for 6 months, or the way he explained it, until he gets time to come back to see you. Holy cow. Somebody got a Husqvarna order in. I'm going to show you guys this. Show you one of our local dealers here. A friend of mine owns this. I used to work here, long time ago. But I wanted to show you something. Look behind me here, guys. That's all new equipment. In behind this equipment, look, guys. Look, stacked up back in there on them racks and everything. That whole place is full of mowers to be repaired. It's called Adams Power Equipment. Um, awesome folks, man. Good people. When I worked here, it wasn't called Adams. It was called Mountaineer Mower. But it's the same building, and good place. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to get off here. I got to go in here and get a John Deere part, which there's a John Deere dealer down the road, but Adams got it. And just a little tip, too. You know, even though we're using distributors to do all this, you know, order these parts and everything, if you have to pay $10 or $12 shipping on a part, and you can get it from a local place, you just need like this belt. I'm repairing a general transmission. I got to put a belt on a general transmission. Yay, right? So you could do that. You could order that. I can order that. But by the time I buy it, and if that's all I need, I'm going to pay shipping because I haven't hit the, you know, minimum requirement order. So I'd have to pay shipping on it. Why not come down here, support your other local businesses, man? And if I'm going to give somebody $10 extra for a belt, it's going to be Adam. It's not going to be anybody else. But anyway, all right, guys. Hey, listen, until next time, like I said, putting out a challenge to you guys out there. Get your crap together. Let's get this going. No matter what you do, do it for the glory of God, or it's not worth doing. CNL is out.